Ray had no idea that opening one door would change everything. He was just a mechanic, a simple human man who had come to Station Zeta 9 for a new job. The station was huge and full of aliens from different worlds. Ray didn't care about politics or alien royalty. All he wanted was peace, food, and a warm shower after a long shift. That night, the hallway was quiet. His temporary housing unit was cold and small, but it had one shared bathroom down the hall. He grabbed his towel, yawned, and walked toward it like he had done before. But this time, the door wasn't locked. Ray paused. A thin mist was coming from under the door. He thought maybe someone left the shower on. He knocked once, no answer. He knocked again, still silent. He looked left, then right. Nobody was around. He hesitated for a second, then slowly turned the handle. The door creaked open. His breath caught in his throat. There she was, standing in the middle of the room, her body glowing softly in the steam. She had no clothes, not even a thread. Her skin shimmered like polished silver under the bathroom lights. Her hair floated like silk in the mist, and her golden eyes locked onto his. "You dare intrude on my throne," she shouted. Ray froze. He wanted to run, but his feet stayed stuck. She raised her hand like she was summoning power from the air. The lights flickered, the room trembled. A strange pressure hit his chest like a giant hand was pushing down on him. "I didn't know." Ray tried to speak, but the words got stuck. "You opened the door," she said in a calm but terrifying voice. "Now, the bond has begun." "The what?" Before she could answer, the door slammed shut behind him. Heavy boots echoed in the hallway. Then the wall broke open from the side. 6 armored aliens in red suits rushed in, pointing long energy spears at the girl. "Princess Thalixa, surrender," one of them shouted. "Never," she hissed, taking a step toward Ray. "He is mine now." He saw the ceremony. "I claim him by ancient right." Ray's eyes widened. "Wait, what?" "You will come with us now," said one guard. "But Princess..." Thalixa raised her hand. A pulse of blue energy knocked the guards back against the walls. The tiles cracked, steam hissed. Ray could barely breathe. She turned back to him. Her voice softened. "You saw me on the throne of purity. No one is allowed to see that, not even my own people. Now, fate has tied us." Ray shook his head. "I just wanted a shower." A sudden silence filled the room. Thalixa stepped closer. She was taller than him, graceful, and glowing with power. But her eyes held something else to fear. "I was hiding here," she whispered. "I had nowhere else to go. My people want to use me as a puppet. But if a non-royal sees the ceremony, the ritual is broken. They can't force me back." Ray blinked. "So, I messed up your ceremony." "No," she said. "You saved me." The door burst open again. This time it was a human officer. "Ray Carter," he shouted. "Are you all right?" "Step away from the alien." "No," Thalixa growled, pulling Ray behind her. "He's with me." Ray looked at both sides. Guards, officers, a glowing naked alien princess holding his hand and calling him hers. He sighed. What did I just walk into? Outside, alarms began to sound. A full lockdown was triggered, but inside that bathroom a bond had already started, a bond that would pull Ray deeper into an alien empire's politics, ancient rituals, and something far stranger than love, because this wasn't just about one door. This was about a throne, a girl with silver skin, and a human who had no idea what destiny had planned for him next. Asterisk. The alarms didn't stop. Ray sat on the cold metal bench in a holding room deep inside station. Zatanine, his shirt was soaked. His face had dried blood from a scratch he didn't remember getting, and the guards outside had been whispering about him for the last 10 minutes, but the door finally opened. She stepped in, still glowing. Princess Thalixa, the same alien girl who had stood naked in his bathroom, declaring it her royal throne. Now, she wore a strange robe made of light blue fabric that shimmered like water. Her hair was braided with gold threads. Even dressed, she looked otherworldly, and she walked straight to him like they were already lovers. "You must not let them separate us," she said softly, sitting beside him like they had always been close. "The ritual is not complete." Ray leaned back. "I'm just a guy, a mechanic. I don't know anything about rituals." She tilted her head. "But you saw my true form in the throne bath. You stood your ground. You breathed the mist of my kind. That alone marks you." Ray blinked. "I breathed your what?" Before she could answer, the door opened again. A tall, four-eyed alien in a formal black uniform entered. His voice was cold. "Ray Carter, human male. You have trespassed into a forbidden ritual chamber of the Valexian crown line, punishable by memory wipe, exile, or death." Ray stood up. "I didn't trespass. The door wasn't locked." The official ignored him. "The princess has invoked the bond of the bathed. That complicates things." Thalixa stood. "He is mine. The law is clear." The official sighed. "Only royal blood may bond. He's not one of us." She walked up to the alien, her voice firm. "His courage matches any Valexian warrior. His heart is stronger than 10 nobles. If my blood is royal, then let it mix." Ray's heart skipped. "Wait, mix what?" She turned to him, stepping close, and held out a hand. "If you accept, we perform the second step, a bath of union. In your tub." Ray took a step back. "My tub is full of broken soap bottles and hair. It's not magical." She smiled. It will be. 10 minutes later, Ray stood in his small apartment again. The bathroom light buzzed weakly overhead. The tub was half full with warm water. He stared at it like it might explode. Thalika stood at the doorway holding a small silver vial. "This is my blood," she said, "mixed with the essence of stars. Drop it into your bath. If the water turns gold, we are bound. If it turns black, we are enemies forever." Ray raised a brow. "No pressure, huh?" She nodded. "Total pressure." He took the vial and it. The liquid inside shimmered between silver and red. Slowly, he poured it into the tub. Nothing happened at first. Then ripples. A low hum filled the room. The water glowed, swirling in patterns like galaxies. It turned bright gold. Ray stepped back. "What does that mean?" Alexa stepped forward, eyes wide. "It means the bond is real and permanent." "Great," he muttered, scratching his head. "What now?" She smiled, softer this time. "Now, I stay with you. No guard can take me. No law can touch me. This is my safe planet, and you are my shelter." Ray sighed. "I still don't get it. Why choose me?" Her voice lowered. "Because in that moment, when I screamed, you didn't run, you didn't laugh. You just looked at me like I was a person, not a symbol." He looked at the tub again, now glowing softly gold. The same tub he had used for months. The same tub that now, somehow, connected him to a princess with cosmic blood. Outside, the alarm stopped. Inside, everything had just begun. Asterisk. Ray didn't sleep that night. The golden glow from his bathtub wouldn't fade. The water rippled without touch, and strange whispers filled the air like soft wind. But it wasn't just the water that haunted him, it was the girl now sleeping on his couch like she had always lived there. Princess Thalixa, alien royalty, and somehow now, connected to him forever. Ray stood in the kitchen sipping instant coffee, trying to process everything. He didn't believe in destiny, but what else could explain a naked alien princess declaring him her chosen one? The front door buzzed. Ray turned. Thalixa opened her eyes instantly, alert like a trained warrior. She stood and walked to the door. Without hesitation, he followed. "Don't open it." She didn't listen. The door slid open. Two tall alien envoys in black hand-red robes stood outside, flanked by human military guards. The lead envoy spoke with a sharp tone. "By the Unified Interstellar Code, Section 9, Article 313, we demand your presence in court, Princess Thalixa and the human who violated the throne, right?" Ray frowned. "I didn't violate anything, I just opened the door." The envoy turned to him coldly. "Then you must stand trial for it." The courtroom wasn't a courtroom, it was a floating glass platform in the center of a massive galactic hall. Thousands of alien faces floated in virtual seats. Lights blinked. Cameras recorded. Ray stood next to Thalixa, completely out of place. In his faded jacket and scratched boots, the grand voice, a giant blue orb with a face carved in light, began the trial. "Princess Thalixa," it spoke, "you have invoked the bond of the bathed without approval." "I acted by tradition," she replied. "You allowed a human to witness the sacred throne stake nude, unguarded, unannounced." She nodded. "Yes, and by law, he is now my bonded one." Ray raised a hand. "I didn't agree to." "You did," she whispered, "when you poured the vial." The grand voice continued. "Ray Carter, human of Soul 3, you are not noble. You are not royal. You do not carry interstellar rank, and yet, you hold a bond that grants you protection equal to a prince. This cannot stand." Murmurs echoed through the chamber. Thalixa stepped forward. "There is only one way to challenge the bond." Ray blinked. "Wait, challenge?" The grand voice replied. "If the human accepts the trial of clarity and survives, the bond becomes absolute. If he fails, the bond is broken. He is erased." Erased. Ray's voice cracked, like memory wiped, like vaporized. Thalixa said softly. Ray turned to her. "That's not helping." She grabbed his hand. "If you run now, they'll hunt you forever. If you pass this trial, they cannot touch you, ever, and I will never leave your side." He looked into her glowing eyes, then took a breath. "I'll do it." The trial chamber vanished. Ray found himself standing on a circular platform in the middle of black space. Stars spun slowly in the distance. A single light floated in the air in front of him like a glowing ball of fire. A voice echoed all around. "Speak your truth." Ray narrowed his eyes. "What does that mean?" The voice replied. "Spec, why you did not run. When you saw her body, her anger, her power, why didn't you flee?" Ray paused. Memories rushed back, her shouting, the light in her eyes, the way she trembled, even while acting strong. "I don't know," he said quietly. "Maybe I should have, but..." She didn't look like a monster. She looked scared. The fireball pulsed. Truth accepted. The platform vanished. Ray dropped into water cold, black, and deep. He struggled, coughing, kicking. But then soft arms pulled him up. Thalixa was there, holding him, glowing gold. "It's over," she whispered. "You passed." He gasped. "What the hell kind of court is this?" "The kind that judges hearts." She smiled. Back in the chamber, the grand voice declared, "Bond confirmed. The human Ray Carter is now a sovereign consort of the Valexian crown line. His rights are royal. His protection is eternal." Gasps, applause, and rage from jealous nobles. Ray stood silently, soaked and shivering. Alexa leaned close and whispered, "You just became royalty and you still smell like cheap coffee." He smiled. "I also still want a normal life." Too late, she grinned. "Now, we rule together." Ray never thought royal status would come with this much running. He was out of breath. His boots slipped on the metal rooftop, and the wind howled around him like it wanted him gone. Behind him, 3 hover drones zipped through the night sky, scanning and shooting warning beams. One beam sizzled past his head. He cursed under his breath. "I thought being a prince meant getting guards, not being hunted." "Ahead, princess." Thelixa stood near the edge of the building. Calm as ever. Her silver hair flowed behind her like smoke in the wind. She held out her hand. "Jump," she said. Ray stopped, panting. "Jump where?" "We're 50 floors up." She gave him a look. "Do you trust me?" He didn't have time to think. The drones closed in. He grabbed her hand. They jumped. For 2 seconds, he thought he was dead. Then the air shimmered. A cloaked glider hidden below the rooftop caught them mid-fall. It tilted, nearly flipping them off. Ray screamed as Thelixa grabbed the controls. "And yanked him straight next time," he said, gripping the edge. "Let's take the stairs." Thelixa smirked. This is the royal way. Hours earlier, everything had seemed calm. After the Bond trial, the station had held a celebration. Aliens from over 50 species had attended. Ray wore a stiff golden suit. He smiled, shook hands, bowed, and tried not to spill anything on the ceremonial robes, but something felt wrong. He noticed a group of cloaked figures near the food area, never eating, only watching. They weren't celebrating. They were waiting. Thelixa noticed too. "They are the Cinderblades," she whispered. "Rival bloodline. They believe I shamed the throne. They want you erased." Ray whispered back, again with the erased thing. "Can't we just get arrested like normal people?" She didn't smile. "No, not in royal life." Moments later, the lights cut out, the music stopped, and the attack began. Now flying low through the sky lanes of Station 18, Ray held on to the edge of the glider while Thelixa weaved between buildings. Massive light towers passed overhead. Transport ships honked and swerved as they dodged through traffic. "Where are we going?" he shouted. "To someone who can hide us," she said. They flew through a narrow tunnel between 2 engine towers. The glider hit a support beam. Sparks flew. Ray screamed again. "I changed my mind," he yelled. "I want normal life. I want laundry days and grocery shopping." Thelixa turned her head. "Too late. You're a prince now. Princes don't shop. They get hunted." They landed on a hidden platform behind a row of shipping containers. Ray collapsed to the floor, catching his breath. Thelixa moved quickly, pulling open a metal hatch in the wall. Inside was a small room, dark, warm, and silent. A man stood inside. He was tall, with sharp green eyes and cybernetic arms. "Ray Carter," the man said, stepping forward. "You've made quite the mess." Ray blinked. "Do I know you?" The man grinned. "No, but I know everything about you." Thelixa cut in. "He's my uncle." Ray's jaw dropped. "You said your whole family was dead." She paused. They said they were dead to me." The man laughed. "I like him." Inside the hidden room, Ray finally sat down. The walls were lined with old tech, scrap parts, and strange weapons. It looked like a bunker built for war. The uncle, whose name was Varos, explained everything. "The Cinderblades aren't just mad about your bond. They're scared you're not just a human anymore. You're a symbol, proof that their blood isn't the only path to power." Ray frowned. "I don't want power." "That's why you're dangerous," Varos said. "People who want the throne are easy to control. You're not." Ray leaned back, rubbing his face. "So what now? We hide forever." Thelixa stepped forward. "No, we fight, but not with guns." Ray raised a brow. "Then how?" "With truth," she said. "We show the galaxy who we are, what this bond means. Not politics, not war, just real connection." Ray looked at her, really looked. She wasn't just a glowing alien girl anymore. She was someone fighting for a life of her own, just like him. He nodded slowly. "All right, let's make them see." Outside, the Cinderblades were preparing their final strike. Drones armed, blades sharpened. But inside that tiny room, a mechanic and a runaway princess made a choice to stop running, to take the skies again, and to turn a bathroom mistake into a bond that shook the stars. Asterisk. The cave was cold, but she looked warmer than the sun. Ray sat near a fire made from glowing stones. It flickered blue, casting soft shadows along the smooth rock walls. Outside the cave, a storm howled through the mountains of the outer moon. Snow piled in thick waves, hiding their tracks. Princess Thelixa sat quietly across from him, not in armor, not in robes, just a simple gray cloak that barely reached her knees and a scarf made from his old jacket. Her silver skin reflected the firelight. Her hands were wrapped around a metal cup, steaming with alien tea. But her eyes weren't royal tonight. They were tired. Ray broke the silence first. "I thought princesses lived in castles, not caves." She didn't smile. She didn't even blink. "This cave was my first home," she said. Ray leaned forward. "What do you mean?" "My people never talk about it. But I was born during exile," she said quietly. "My mother was running, hunted, just like we are now. Ray's heart slowed. He had always seen Thalixa as powerful, proud, impossible to break, but now, her words cracked like old stone. I never had a throne, she continued, only stories. My mother died before she could return. I was taken back to the palace like a prize, raised by people who called me air but treated me like glass. Ray shifted closer. You never wanted to be queen, did you? She shook her head. I wanted to be free, to choose my own life, to choose who I trust, who I stand with. She looked at him, then truly looked. Her golden eyes held a quiet storm inside them. And when you opened that door, she said softly, I thought you would laugh, or run, or stare like the others, but you didn't. Ray swallowed. I didn't know what to do. You were screaming about thrones and staring at me like I'd broken a rule older than time. She smiled a little, the first one in hours. Even then, you didn't look away. They sat there in silence. The wind outside grew stronger. Ray rubbed his arms. So what do we do now? Keep running, keep hiding in caves? No, she said. We stop pretending. He frowned. Pretending what? She moved closer to him. Pretending we're just hiding. Pretending this bond was a mistake. Ray's chest tightened. You think it wasn't? She placed her hand over his heart. This is my throne now. He blinked. What? She looked at him without fear. Not the palace. Not the crown. This you. The person who didn't treat me like an object. Who didn't want my title. Who just listened. He held her hand gently. I don't know how to be royal. Good, she whispered. Then we can build something real. Later that night, Ray couldn't sleep. He stared at the cave ceiling, listening to her breathing beside him. She had curled against him for warmth. No royal guards, no fancy pillows. Just two runaways with a bond glowing quietly between them. He whispered into the cold air. Why me? She murmured back, half asleep. Because you didn't want me. He looked at her. That's why you chose me. She nodded slowly. Everyone else wanted the crown. You just wanted a shower. The next morning they left the cave, but something had changed. They weren't just escaping anymore. They were choosing each other. Not because of tradition, not because of law, but because in a galaxy full of lies and masks, they had found something true in a broken bathroom and a golden tub. They hiked down the mountain together, hand in hand, and though the storm still roared above them, the throne was no longer behind palace walls. It was between them, inside her heart, and slowly, inside his too. The invitation wasn't a trap, but it felt like one. Ray stood on the edge of the floating sky stage, staring at thousands of glowing eyes in the crowd below. Drones hovered in the air, broadcasting the ceremony to every star system under the Valexian Empire. Alien diplomats in silk armor whispered into headpieces. Reporters from 12 planets zoomed in on his confused face, and he was wearing a crown, a real one. Heavy, cold, sharp at the edges. He turned to Thalixa, standing beside him, wrapped in shimmering white robes that moved like wind. Her long silver hair was woven with pieces of starglass. Her eyes didn't look scared. They looked ready. Tell me again, Ray muttered, why we agreed to this. She whispered without turning. Because if we don't stand here, someone else will. Someone worse. Someone who doesn't care about people like you or me. He swallowed. You sure the crown suits me? She finally turned. It suits your soul. It all started 5 days ago, after leaving the cave. Thalixa had made a bold move. She sent a signal to the Empire, a public one. She declared her bond to Ray official, declared him her chosen consort, declared the crown was no longer just a bloodline, but a symbol of union between worlds. Then she challenged the High Table to prove they were worthy to rule. In response, the table called for a public coronation. They thought she would back down. She didn't. Back on the sky stage, a chief crown keeper stepped forward. He was old. His face half metal, half flesh. His voice was loud enough to silence the entire crowd. Today we gather to witness an ancient bond made new. A princess who defied tradition. A human who dared open the wrong door and walked through it anyway. The crowd chuckled. Ray sighed. So that's how history will remember me. The guy who walked into the bathroom. Thalixa leaned close. Better than the guy who got vaporized on trial day. True. The crown keeper raised a silver staff. Let the crowns be given. 2 attendants stepped forward, one carrying a glowing veil, the other carrying a twin set of thick, golden rings. Thalixa lifted the veil onto her head, and then turned to Ray. The entire galaxy watched. Ray took a slow breath and picked up the smaller crown. It pulsed with a soft gold light as he placed it gently on her head. Cameras flashed. Lights burned bright. A second of silence passed. Then the sky stage lit up with roaring cheers. Aliens of every species clapped, whistled, howled, and lifted their hands. Even some of the nobles who had once voted for Thalixa's removal now stood in awe. Something had changed. The bond they thought was a scandal had become a statement louder than any war speech. Ray looked around, heart racing. He had gone from a ship mechanic to standing beside an alien queen in less than 2 weeks. He had no idea what tomorrow would bring. But in that moment, the universe felt different. Backstage, after the ceremony, Thalixa led Ray into a quiet hall. He pulled at his collar. So, we just shocked the galaxy. Now what? She smiled. Now we rule. I don't know how to rule. That's why we'll do it differently. she said. No more thrones of marble. No more blood rules. Just a bond that no one expected and no one can break. Ray sat on a bench, exhausted. This started with me just looking for a place to shower. Alexa sat beside him, resting her head on his shoulder, and I was looking for a way out of my cage. They sat there in silence for a while. No guards, no reporters, no crowns, just two souls who accidentally stepped into each other's lives and changed everything later that night. News feeds across the empire flashed with the same headline: Alien princess crowned before a billion eyes, and her human consort stole every heart. Ray froze at the doorway, the same doorway that started everything. This time he entered by choice. No alarm clanged, no guards shouted, only silence, warm and steady inside. Princess Thalixa kneeled beside the golden tub she traced the rim with calm fingers. Silver hair fell like water down her back. A soft cloak rested on the floor. Forgotten she wore simple cloth, the color of morning fog. Ray stepped closer, heart thumping. He remembered the first moment's steam, fear, confusion. Now he felt none of those, only respect. Only quiet joy. Alexa looked up. Her eyes shone brighter than the light strips. Welcome home, she whispered. This throne belongs to both of us. Now he knelt beside her. The golden water rippled at their presence. Tiny sparks floated into the air like fireflies. The bond between them hummed, gentle music only they could hear outside. The bathroom, station dwellers gathered and hushed on. News feeds carried the scene live. New velvet drape, number crown of iron. Just two souls beside a humble tub. A symbol stronger than any palace. Ray spoke first. I never wanted power, I wanted peace. Can we keep that promise? Alexa smiled. Power is a tool. We will use it to give others the peace we found starting here in the smallest room of the station. She lifted a hand over the water. Light formed shapes, blue letters floating like clouds, each shape a new law. Freedom for workers, a fair voice for settlers, shared seats for off-worlders. The letters drifted through the open door, carried by unseen wind in every corridor. Watchers gasped as the letters burned into haliboards, turning royal decree into living promise. Ray watched, amazed. Is it really that simple to write? She answered, hard to live. That is why I need you. A mechanic sees problems, not politics. You will keep me honest. He nodded. And you keep me brave. The golden tub brightened. Together they placed their hands on the surface. The water rose, wrapping their fingers with warm light. When they pulled back, 2 rings of liquid gold circled their wrists, cooling into smooth bands. Ray laughed. A sound rich and new. Guess that makes it official. It was always official, Alexa said, but now it is visible. A soft knock echoed. Varos entered, the uncle with cyber arms, moving with cautious steps. The corridor is clear, he said. The Cinder Blades have accepted the new charter. Danger remains, but open war is over. Ray stood. Thank you for watching. The Dorvros nodded. My honor. He stepped aside, letting them pass. Ray paused by the threshold. He glanced back at the tub. Years from now, tourists would visit, painting hall, telling stories. The throne that was a bathtub, the mistake that saved an empire. He felt a burst of laughter and pride. Alexa tugged his hand. Time to face the station. Time to show them a different kind of rule. They walked through the corridors. No guards flanked them, only citizens. A child with emerald skin handed Alexa a toy crown made of recycled wire. She crouched and placed it on the child's head. You are the future now, she said. The crowd cheered, not for royalty, but for kindness. At the main atrium, Ray stepped before a wide holoscreen. Reporters lifted mics, expecting a royal speech. Instead, he cleared his throat and spoke plain words. I am Ray Carter. I fix things today. With Princess Alexa, I will help fix our home, not with fear, not with ancient titles, but with open doors, doors that anyone may walk through without losing their life. He looked at Alexa. She placed her hand over her heart. The crowd copied the gesture. A quiet pledge filled the air, stronger than any anthem. Night fell. On Station Zeta 9, Ray and Alexa returned to their small quarters. Stars glittered beyond the window like spilled grains of salt. They sat at the table built from spare engine panels, shared soup heated on a modest stove, laughed about how far they had run, and how close they had landed before sleep. They visited the bathroom one last time, the golden water now calm, reflecting 2 faces side by side. Alexa whispered, this throne is not stone or water, it is choice. Every day we must choose again. Do you accept? Ray answered without hesitation. I do. Every day. The light dimmed. The tub faded. 2 gentle amber, 2 hands entwined, 2 hearts steady beyond the door. The empire stood ready to learn, and in the quiet, Ray finally found the peace he had asked for on that first night, not granted by rulers, but carved from open doors and shared thrones.